been a trend this year for me to read disgusting books. I'm not sure why. It started out with Trainspotting by Irvine, Welsh, because I had to read it for a university assignment. After Trainspotting was A Clockwork Orange, which was more disturbing than just disgusting. And I read Factotum by Charles Bukowski, which had some gross stuff in it, but wasn't anywhere near as gross as Trainspotting or as disturbing as A Clockwork Orange. After Factotum, I went back to Irvine Welsh's depraved works with Filth, a 1998 novel turned 2013 film adaptation with James McAvoy about a dirty cop who finds more and more excessive ways to chase his pleasures. This book certainly lived up to the title, to say the least. While Trainspotting follows criminal drug addicts, Filth switches the perspective of a man in a position of power, with the main character being a part of the Edinburgh police. He's Detective Bruce Robertson, and he is a man with many, many problems. For one thing, he has a tape recorder inside of him that narrates parts of the book. And another, a murder that is believed to be race-related, happened in the streets of his city. While you'd expect a novel following detectives in a murder to actually be interested in solving the murder, our pleasure-chasing protagonist isn't really interested in that. He has degenerate needs he needs to fulfill. And Robertson gets his kicks by being the most repulsive individual around. Like, not only is he a drug-abusing, racist, misogynist, manipulative, abusive piece of filth, he is all that with a smile on his face, believing he's in the right since he's police. Similar in vein to something like Bret Easton Ellis's works of American Psycho or Less Than Zero, where the depraved is the norm and moments of levity are abnormal.
I guess I'm a pretty sick guy.
The book is told from the first-person perspective, and it's not a perspective that you want to get sucked into, and especially not one that you want to be relating to. I'm willing to bet, too, if the film adaptation was as popular as American Psycho, people would be posting videos with Bruce Robertson saying how Sigma he is or something.
You see, there's something wrong with me. There's something seriously wrong with me.
With that said, Bruce isn't the only character narrating the novel. He has a little problem of a tape word inside of him that, as the plot progresses and Bruce's degeneracy grows, becomes more and more aware of itself and the host it's inhabiting. Its narration is written between lines of actual plot, where you can read pieces of Bruce's narration mixed in along with it. Like this. Eat. This consumption, all this chomping and chewing, it provides me with more evidence of my existence than thought does. This is the only real way I can interact with the environment I am in. My problem is that I seem to have quite a simple biological structure with no mechanism for the transference of all my grand and noble thoughts into fine deeds. Oh yes, I can conceive of my body as that simple structure. Input, process, output, eat, digest, and then shite to your heart's content. Right through my skin as well, yes, that's me. This simple thing. But I know for sure that the complexity of my soul doesn't even start to approximate the basic organism that is my body. As I said, the investigation plotline takes a back seat for a lot of the book. It's still there and ever present throughout, but serves more of as annoyance for a pleasure-chasing protagonist. One of his most annoying problems seems to be his female co-worker, Amanda Drummond, who serves as Bruce's foil for the novel. She's everything Bruce isn't, a kind and serious police officer who cares about her community. Needless to say, Bruce absolutely hates her, and a lot of the conflict within the investigation comes from him hating her and the two butting heads, as well as the fact that she might be getting the promotion that he wants. Welsh writes in such a grimy and real way, I had to put the book down at a few moments to do something else before I got back to it. One scene in particular, Bruce and his partner, Ray Lennox, bust this man named Aki with drugs on an underage girl. They then intimidate Aki by telling him they could send him to prison with an inmate called the Beast, who would do terrible things to him. After intimidating the information out of Aki, Bruce goes into another room to talk to the underage girl. Upon seeing the underage girl, you'd think, any moral person, they would, ask her if she's alright. Maybe ask her what the man tried to do with her. Try to comfort her. Something, something at least. Some sort of sign that you care. But Bruce Robertson, like I said, isn't a good person. instead of comforting her, what he does is absolutely depraved and disgusting, and possibly one of the worst things he does in the novel. It was so bad that I had considered not finishing it. He assaults her. He coerces her by saying he won't charge her with anything, which don't think she could have really been charged with anything realistically, but since he has the power of the situation, he is an adult for one, and he is a police officer for another. He abuses that power and assaults the minor. And it is a disgusting scene that just shows the true depravity of this character we're reading about. Bruce isn't a hero cop you read about in most detective novels or shows. He's a bad cop and an even worse person.
I used to be a good person.
Yeah, I heard that.
But even with these dark topics, Welsh somehow still keeps the reader engaged to see what depraved acts a man like Bruce will do next. There are whole scenes where Bruce is just wiping his ass raw with toilet paper, and he just describes it in such a grimy way. And then, like, scenes where he's masturbating to porn magazines, and yeah, it's really gross, man. And it isn't just terribly depressing and disgusting like those scenes are. There's parts of the book that are darkly comedic in a weird way, just with the lengths Bruce will go to inconvenience and mess with people in very small and minor ways. Like, he isn't just a terrible person on the larger moral scale, but he's a terrible person in the very small and minute, such as a scene where he reads through his boss's crime screenplay on his work computer and laughs at it before deleting the only file that the boss had on it. Spliced between this diabolical mess are a few chapters spread throughout from the point of view of Carol, Bruce's wife or possibly ex-wife. It serves as a mystery throughout the book of what happened between him and her. Even though the investigation does take a back seat for the plot, the book is still a proper mystery novel with all the twists, turns, and intrigue it could want. It just does it in an unusual and roundabout way, which I think is a good way to sum up a lot of Irvine Welsh's work. I won't spoil the mystery or twist for you, as it's worth reading for those that can stomach all the vile and filth-ridden content. Hope you enjoyed my review of Filth, and you give it a little old read yourself. Please hit that like button, and maybe consider subscribing if you want to hear me talk about books or whatever other stuff I decide to do. Thanks for watching.